Hello, good evening, Kakophon, Catsith, Meowington, Winterburn, Ichigo Berry. Oh, Ichigo, I haven't heard the dub of, like, any of JoJo except for, like, one clip each of, like, Battle Tendency and Stardust Crusaders. Rohan is a blast, though. Nice, Koichi-kun. That guy, oh man, he was so creepy when you first meet him, and he's kind of creepy after the fact. I'll probably get started in a minute and a half. Hello, DJ Gamer. Oh, Vic Mignogna. I know that name, but I forgot what he's done. I know he's a prominent voice actor, but I can't place any roles on him, unfortunately. It's been a while since I've, like, really followed, like particular voice actors. Alright, I think it's about time we get started. We are back with 428 Shibuya Scramble. We might just finish one of the hours this time. So we're going to start by putting this up to a vote, like you might expect. Achi or Kano? Place your bets, ladies and gentlemen. Achi has a gun pointed at kind of him, but Hitomi for real. For his own good, question mark? And Kano teamed up with some killer from the US government. So we have one vote for Achi. Do we have any others? I'm most curious. Because if not, then I'm jumping right into Achi's story. Why not? Achi and Kano. We'll see where this goes. Yeah, we got spoiled by Tama's story. I know, right? We got 2 votes for Achi. Oh, 3 for Achi. Okay. It looks like Achi's picking up steam. 4 for Achi. 1 for Kano. But it's looking like we're doing Achi, so let's go. Mean, clean. The man with the cane crooked his finger on the trigger. Achi stepped in front of Hitomi, shielding her with his body. If you want to shoot her, you have to shoot me too. What? Suddenly, the assassin's head jerked forward. He pitched face first onto the pavement and lay still, revealing a foreign man standing behind him. Hello, Neko Green Dragon. Oh, the creepy guy. Wait. No, isn't that one of the people in that syndicate? In one hand, the stranger clutched a metal pipe. Hitomi, Achi asked, you know that guy? Yeah, this is one of the people that Kano was chasing after, right? Hitomi's eyes went wide. That's the man from the Scramble. The Shibuya Scramble. The 428 Shibuya Scramble. The one who told me to go to the van. Wait, one of the kidnappers? Why would he help us? I'm not sure. The newcomer fixed his eyes on Achi. Hey man. Achi approached the stranger. I'm not sure what's going on here, but thanks for the assist. Yeah, I knew it. Whoa! The man took a sudden swing with his pipe. With a creepy grin, Achi barely managed to dodge out of the way. What the hell? Once again, Achi made sure Hitomi was safely behind him. Guess I gotta let my fists do the talking. Achi quickly adopted a fighting stance. Be careful, Hitomi warned, her voice trembling. God, this guy's so openly creepy. Like, Kajiwara's creepy, but this guy's, like, actively attempting to be creepy. Don't worry, it's just a pipe. It KO'd that guy in one shot, so I'll be fine. I'll just snatch it away from him and make him tell us where your sister is. Achi judged the distance between them carefully as he stared his opponent down. Hello there, Beta Bran. The metal pipe gave this thug considerable reach. One solid hit from that thing and Achi wouldn't stand a chance. He needed to end this in one punch! The crook sized him up for a few moments, then lunged forward to attack. Now! No kidding? Achi sidestepped to avoid the incoming blow, then delivered a vicious left hook to his adversary's jaw. The men went down hard. No kidding! And the guy's got a tattoo of some kind. Achi gazed at his fallen foe, flexing his knuckles. The thing about guys who bring weapons to fights is they always let themselves get too cocky. Oh, we're actually focusing on its skull. He looked the guy over. The man had a tattoo peeking from one of his ratty sleeves. Come on, buddy, you can't clock out just yet, Achi said. Get up, I got a few questions for you. He knelt down to grab the man by his collar. Jesus. Halfway to his feet, the man pulled a gun from his breast pocket. Whoa, didn't know you were packing heat. Achi took a quick step backward. The man's eyes brimmed with rage. He looked ready to pull the trigger at any moment. Suddenly, another man with a larger pipe knocked him out, but then he pulled out a larger gun. But he didn't get the chance. Is each man in black gonna, like, keep KOing the other? Like, this guy saves Achi, but then the creepy guy takes out the cane guy, but then the cane guy takes out creepy guy. The man with the cane had regained consciousness. Back on his feet, he trained his own gun on the foreigner. The foreigner quickly shifted his attention to the other gunman. Jesus, Achi, on top of things. Oh, no, you don't! Achi darted forward and kicked the kidnapper in the hand as hard as he could. The gun went flying from his grasp. This freaking guy! With a low snarl, the man took up the metal pipe again. That's a pretty good cane. Rather than go for Achi, however, he charged the man with the cane. What the? Achi watched in astonishment as the two men grappled. This is weird! Now's our chance! Grabbing Hitomi by the hand, Achi broke into a run. Well, alright. And then they played in the playground for another hour, but then they really had to get back to the plot. So then, they ran for a long time, finally stopping to rest in a quiet municipal park. As they sat catching their breath, Achi sensed a new tension in Hitomi. She hadn't said a word since their latest escape. She has to die, Achi. It's for your own good. Hey there, insane buffoon. In his mind, Achi replayed what the man with the cane had said. So, Hitomi, about you dying for my own good. Well, you see, Achi hesitated. About what happened back there? Yeah? She sounded like she'd been far gone in her own thoughts. You gotta believe me, I have no idea who that guy was. Never seen him before in my life. Yeah, that's freaking weird, man. He must have been saying that stuff to confuse us, to trip us up. Yeah? Hitomi said again. Is that what's been bothering you? Huh? Now it was Achi's turn to go monosyllabic. Nice. Well, actually, you're kind of famous around Shibuya, right? I don't know about that. Way back when, he'd been the leader of SOS. Nowadays, he was just some guy who picked up trash. Oh, Christ's sake, Fakafan. You're hoping someone calls out to Achi so they can be like, hey, Achi! Boo. That was nothing to brag about. When someone's famous, it's not unusual for someone else to recognize them and know their name. Yeah, the assassin with no mean clean, okay. So yeah, I was surprised back there, but no matter what that man may have said, I trust you. I mean, look at how many times you put yourself in danger to protect me. Hitomi sounded pretty resolute. Achi was glad that she believed him, but that raised another question. Why is he so blurry? So then how come you've been so quiet? I've just been thinking about things. Like what the man from the Scramble might be after. It really sounds weird to call it the Scramble. No one talks like that. It was true that his actions didn't make a lot of sense. Yeah, he seemed more interested in taking out the man with a cane than going after you. Maybe there's bad blood between them. Maybe it was a case of mistaken identity. I'm thinking this is a non-choice because I bet you neither of these is true, but what's it going to be, everybody? A or B? A stands for bad blood, and B stands for a case of mistaken identity. Damn, I'm clever. Damn, I'm good at English. Damn, I'm good at video games. So yeah, A or B, bad blood or mistaken identity. How's it gonna be? Hello there, Crimson Alice. Winterburn, at least his goals are achievable. Ugh. So yeah, A or B. We got 1 vote for B. 2 votes for B. And that's it, I guess. Unless someone else wants to weigh in. Okay, 1 vote for A. Hello there, Danish. 3 votes for B, though. Yeah, Neko Green Dragon. Maybe it's Maybelline. Boo. Also old reference. Alright, here we go. A, Achi doesn't know something? Yeah, no kidding. But we still have B slightly winning, so B it is. Oh, never mind. Now it's tied. A, you're sorry just for show. This is bad blood. I don't know. Wow, A's coming back. Now A's the one that's winning. Maybe I'll go with A then. Alright. Guess we're doing it. Maybe there's bad blood between them. Achi let out a little chuckle. If we're lucky, maybe they'll take each other out for us. He felt a rush of relief, reassured that Hitomi didn't doubt his motives. Regardless, though, we have to track down that blue van. The sound of a child's cry came from behind them. What the? Oh, Toyama's kid, who really face-planted. Jeez. That is like a cartoon pratfall, except some asshole knocked him over. Turning to look, they saw the kidnapper rushing toward them. He had knocked over a little girl who was in his way. No rest for the weary, Achi sighed. Yet again, he and Hitomi sprinted away. They moved so fast that everything was blurry. Do you think he took out the guy with the cane? Hitomi's words came between panting huffs. Maybe. Achi glanced back at their pursuer. Goddamn. What? There was someone else with them. Now they were being chased down by 2 foreigners. I like this better when we were just running from one guy with a cane. Yeah, who uncannily knew where we were every time. In a one-on-one fight, Achi was confident he could keep Hitomi safe. 1-on-2, though? That was a different story. One guy might get a hold of her while he was facing off against the other. I love that that's the reason. Like, he could probably actually fight 2 guys, but if one of them, like, cheated... he had to make sure they lost these creeps, no matter what. Oh, damn. So we're done with Achi already. That didn't take long. We got a lot of switching we're going to have to do. The jumping. So I guess we're going to Kano now. This is freaking intense. Okay. Kano it is. I can't go any... Alright, we're doing this. This is nuts. Oh, for God's sake, Fakafan, he uncannily knew where we were. Boo! Which kind of, for me, means yay. Following Kano's directions, Stanley drove toward the Crime Syndicate's hangout. There was a good chance that this was where Maria was being held. Traffic was practically non-existent, and they made good time. They cruised down Miyamasuzaka, then passed the train station toward Dogenzaka. All the while, the 2 men stared out the windshield, neither inclined to make conversation. They arrived at the Shinsencho intersection. Take a right here, Kano said. You nervous? Stanley asked as he made the turn. His own tone was calm and level. Kano gave no reply. If this syndicate really was holding Maria hostage up ahead, he and Stanley might wind up putting her in danger by showing up there. If it came down to it, Kano wondered, could he count on the man next to him taking the hostage's safety into account? You cannot be serious with this. Crimson Alice? He doubted it, but there was nothing he could do about that now. It turns out that the reason they're getting this foreigner, Stanley, on the case is that the foreigner syndicate is Black Monday. You don't want them messing around from Yakuza. They arrived at the syndicate's hangout sooner than Kano had anticipated. It was a multi-tenant building in Tomigaya, southwest of Yoyogi Park. Black Pub Lodge. Or is it the Black Lodge Pub? No one will ever know. Okay, Black Lodge. Never mind. The ratty building looked like it might come crashing down any minute. The Black Lodge sign out front looks deliberately ominous. Kano knew the place was a bar frequented by expats from various countries, as well as a hotbed of criminal activity. Hey, it's Coin Lockers from Yakuza. I can't believe Shibuya Scramble ripped off of Yakuza. I'll take points, Stanley said. You back me up. Damn, we're just going in. And remember, we're on like 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock, I think. We still have like 3 more hours. He pulled a handgun from his suit pocket. It was a compact Glock, a model frequently used by the FBI or CIA. Glock 17, a semi-automatic pistol developed in Austria for police and military use, notable for its incorporation of large amounts of polymer, plastic, in its design. A certain Hollywood film included a line of dialogue claiming that the Glock would not show up on airport x-ray machines, but since the gun barrel itself is made of metal, this is assuredly not true. What movie was this, I wonder? Huh. Hello there, da-da-da. Oh yeah, Twin Peaks. This game's got a bunch of Twin Peaks references already. Is Black Lodge a Twin Peaks reference? Because we've already had Leland's Palmer, and I swear there was something else. But, alright. FBI. What's the FBI, you may ask? Federal Bureau of Investigation, an American investigative bureau established by the U.S. Department of Justice in 1908, has authority in matters involving crimes that cross state lines as well as threats to public order such as espionage and terrorism. Generally speaking, the FBI conducts its activities within the United States. Wow, and Shibuya Scramble came out in, what, 2008 in Japan? So this is like the 100th year anniversary of the FBI. That's freaking insane. CIA. The Central Intelligence Agency, one of the principal agencies of the U.S. intelligence community, reporting to the Director of National Intelligence. Possessing considerable budgetary resources and a vast network of highly trained personnel, the CIA carries out intelligence gathering and covert operations primarily overseas. In recent years, the organization has been devoting major efforts to counterterrorism. Well. Oh, Black Lodge is the reference, thank you. Kano drew his own gun, which I guess we're not gonna focus on, that's fine, and the two cautiously made their way inside. They immediately heard some sort of ruckus from beyond a wooden door at the far end of the hall. It's a real melee. A real brouhaha. Please don't let this be what I think it is, Kano thought to himself. Sweat beaded on his hands as he gripped his gun tighter. He heard the sound of glass shattering. Then came the sound of something heavy falling to the floor. Maria! Ignoring Stanley's previous order, Kano rushed ahead, kicked down the door, and stepped inside. Whoa, whoa, whoa. He walked right into a massacre. There were nearly a dozen bodies sprawled out across the floor. He thought he recognized them all. The men who'd participated in the repeated attaché case handoffs. What is going on in this game? Each appeared to have been stabbed to death. Had these guys all turned on each other? No, that couldn't have been the case. None of the victims was holding a knife. By the way, good grammar there. Was. That is the correct word to use. Which meant that whoever had killed them must still be hiding nearby. No sooner had Kano come to this conclusion than he heard a muffled cry behind him. Stanley! What? The American was sprawled on the floor, face down. Damn! Kano rushed over and knelt beside him. Stanley was dead. What?! Stabbed through the back. Damn, we just met the guy! And yes, Fakafan was. None was. Not one, or no one was. Just as it would be everyone was. It's treated as singular. But Stanley's already dead. That's insane! Like, he took out Mr. Killer over here. Without an instant's hesitation, Kano stood up again, gun at the ready. Yet Dio, who else could have killed everyone with, like, in an instant? He scanned his surroundings, but there was no sign of the killer. But that was impossible. Stanley had been killed mere moments ago. Someone had to be here somewhere. Out of nowhere, he felt someone press the tip of a knife into his neck from behind, right at the base of his skull. How is this possible? How? Yeah, thank you. He hadn't noticed anyone coming up on him. There wasn't even anyone else around. Nobody but the corpses scattered across the floor. Unless the killer was one of the corpses playing dead super quick. Wait, the corpses? Kano hadn't checked them. Aha! Hadn't checked to make sure they were all really dead. Yo, this is ridiculous. Also, hello there, Dr. Zhivargo. Hello, Dragon Ace. This is... man, this is nuts. Winterburn, this can't be a bad end. I just joined. Unless I had to influence the story with someone else's story. Which has happened before, to be fair, so we'll see. With his last thought, I think we're dead, he realized that it had been this fatal mistake. Winterburn was correct. We are quite dead. That was a corpse party death with a flash of red. Who the hell are you? Yeah, King Crimson. Damn. I thought they were dead. Alas, there's nothing to be done for poor Kano now. He wasn't prepared for whoever was wielding that knife. With the weird space between that and knife. Sometimes it's best not to rush things. Kano and Stanley might not have had their run-in with the killer if they turned up a bit later. There's someone who can cause a traffic jam at 1310, so 110, which should keep these two from meeting such a grisly end. Well, okay, so Stanley probably gets to live, I guess, but, like, yo! That is some way to start a stream, am I right? This is great. I mean, bad end, but yo. So now that I've done everything, I'm going to either need to make different choices with previous characters or jump. So instead of asking which character to use, I'm going to go straight to Tama because we can do jumps. I want to test those out first. Oh yeah, the fight. This is so stupid. Oh yeah, didn't Minorikawa walk by right here? Oh, I think I forgot. I think I already missed the jump. It was like in one of the blue things. I blew it. Let's go. Yeah, Winterburn. Correct call with that bad end. That didn't last, man. Alright, let's do this. I am allowed to jump to Achi. So let's make this happen. We could get his keep out of here, right? We're good with that. Hey guys, back to Achi. Guess what? As luck would have it, they soon found a crowd in their path, backs turned toward them. Excited voices rose up from the throng. Whoa, what's the deal? Is something going on? It's a street fight! A fight, as the name implies, that takes place out on the street, typically using bare hands and no weapons. Even a barehanded fight can result in serious injuries, though, which is why they're pretty illegal. I would argue especially a barehanded fight. Achi clutched Hitomi's hand good and tight. Whatever you do, don't let go. Without a moment's hesitation, he plowed his way through the crowd. Emerging on the far side of the gathering, Achi saw the main road ahead. Cars were zipping past in a steady stream. What do we do? There were too many cars for them to rush across the street without getting hit. But they couldn't exactly just sit and wait for the light to change, and they certainly couldn't go back the way they came. Their pursuers were getting closer and closer. Hitomi, Achi shouted. We're going across. We're turning back. Legitimately difficult decision. Ladies and gentlemen, what should we do? A is for where going across. B is for where turning back. No, for real. A is for across, B is for back. What's it gonna be? And yeah, DJ Gamer, this is like padded hands and cat paws fights. There's no bare knuckle at all. So yeah, we're doing hey there, Galleon. So we're doing A across or B for back. We have one vote for A. Holy crap, Crimson Alice. The fight is a Tama Achi. That's pretty incredible. So we have 4 votes for A and 1 for B. Crimson Alice, that deserves like an award of some kind. Especially because Tama was going to sell some crappy not Tamagotchis. It's looking like people are going for A. So let's go. We're going across. What? Dragging Hitomi by the hand, Achi darted out into the street. Moving purely by instinct, he wove his way through the gaps between the speeding cars. Oh! When they were halfway across, a car slammed on its brakes to keep from hitting them, causing several cars behind it to crash into one another. Oh, this was the correct decision then, because this is going to delay Kano. So we chose correctly. The multi-vehicle pileup plunged the roadway into total chaos. Come on, pandemonium. Give me some pandemonium in here. Nope. As a result of this chaos, traffic in the nearby area will be at a standstill for a while. While on their way to the Syndicate hideout, Shinya Kano and Jack Stanley have gotten caught in this traffic jam. So we'll jump to them later, but I'm going to pursue Achi for now. In a matter of moments, the street was clogged with a long line of stopped vehicles. Achi and Hitomi's pursuers remained on the other side and did not pursue. Okay, that was crazy. Hitomi panted as she caught her breath. Well, you know what they say. Idle feet are the devil's playthings. That is not what they say. Hands. It's idle hands. You know, with Seth Green and... what was it? Jessica Alba, I think? Whatever. At least they got in the way. Is this to be continued? No, we're going. Alright. Come on, let's go. Achi led the way down several twisting side streets before slowing his pace. Hello there, Dracologist. By now, Hitomi was slumped and panting heavily. He wanted to give her some time to rest, but if they just hung around, their pursuers might still find them. He looked around and spotted a multi-tenant building. The nearest door was open. Bundles of flyers were set out near the entrance. Flyers for Au Revoir, the set 20-second performance by the theater troupe The Wandering Angels. It tells the tale of a man named Ryu looking back on his 100-year life as a warrior. The performance features wire action as its major set piece, with Ryu and his rival Shido flying high through the air, doing battle with the magical Muramasa blade and beam saber, respectively. Is that a reference to something? But alright. Achi peeked inside and saw piles of plywood and painted lumber. It looked like this was a storeroom for a theater's stage props and scenery. We can hide out in here, he said. But... Hitomi hesitated, but Achi gave her hand a little tug. It'll be fine, there's nobody around. I mean, there's nobody around anywhere else, but Mr. Kane found you. They stepped inside the storeroom and Achi quickly shut the door behind them. We should probably rest for a bit, he said. There was a wooden platform set up beside a large piece of plywood. Achi picked up a magazine that had fallen on the floor and spread it out atop the platform's dusty surface. Here, now you can sit without getting your clothes dirty. Thank you. Hitomi quietly took a seat. We should probably turn off our cell phones, Achi said. It could be really bad if they rang at the wrong moment. The two powered off their phones. Achi took a cursory look around. It didn't look like there was any way in or out beside the door they came in through. There was a single window set in the wall, but it wouldn't open far enough to let them through. Yeah, Ichigo Berry, beam saber from Silent Hill 3. Whoa, Jesus. Ah! Hitomi let out a quiet gasp. Someone was outside the storeroom. Achi put a finger to his lips, and Hitomi gave a fearful nod. The window's frosted glass blocked any real view in or out. So long as they stayed quiet, they ought to be safe. Oh man, come on. Whoever was outside pressed their face to the frosted glass, trying to get a glimpse inside. The blurry visage of the foreigner who'd attacked them was dimly visible. Like the man with the cane before him, this guy was quick to catch up. The man pounded on the glass. Are you kidding? Achi swallowed a lump in his throat. If this guy got in, they had nowhere to run. Achi turned to Hitomi. Get ready for a possible choice. Let's hurry out to the door. We'll be fine, just sit tight. Damn, what should we do with this one? A, get out. B, stay inside. This is freaking intense. Also, props, Winterburn. A water supply you co-own? Au Reservoir. Ugh. Alright, so, hurry out for A and stick around for B. How is this going to work out? Because B, we're trapped in here, but the guy really might not know we're here and leave. A, what the... Oh, sorry. A, we get to leave, assuming the door's not guarded, but then our location will be known for sure. Everybody's saying B. Alright. We'll be fine. Just sit tight. Hitomi clutched onto Achi's arm hard. Can I help you with something? Said a casual voice from outside. No. They saw the pursuer react at once. Oh! Talking to the guy, pulling back from the window. That's just our storeroom, you know, the voice added. Is this Yanagishita? Achi heard footsteps scampering away. Wow. And now a big afro silhouette shows up. The kidnapper had run off. Achi exchanged glances with Hitomi and let out a tiny sigh. There were more voices coming from outside now. What was up with that guy? I don't know. Whatever. Let's just hurry and get stuff tidied up. Man, my throat's raw. So is this like two men? Never mind. I was gonna say like Tama and Shiri like lifting stuff. It sounded like a conversation between two men. The storeroom door opened and the men clomped their way inside. Tomonari Takaya and Taro Toga, two members of the theater troupe The Wandering Angels. Takaya is the Wandering Angels star actor, playing the lead role of Ryu in today's performance of Au Revoir, the troupe's 22nd piece. Last night, he slept completely naked and caught a cold, leading to the sore throat he has now. Toga is the stage director, handling things behind the scenes. He's very irritated that Shinichi Bando, in charge of the prop, seems to have gone AWOL. Okay, so what are we getting? Let's grab all those folding chairs over there. Yeah? The producer said we're going to need a lot more seats all of a sudden. Mr. Ori said that? Going all out for the troops' last hurrah, huh? Beats me, man. In no real hurry, the men went about carting the folding chairs away. They didn't notice Achi and Hitomi sitting silently in the shadows. Jeez. Not to change the subject, but how come we're using a dry ice machine, not a smoke machine? Oh, calling back to that, are we? Didn't Minorikawa need to tell him about that? Maybe that's why my throat's bothering me? Yeah, it's pretty weird. Nobody's even operating it. It's still drawing a ton of power. Think it's defective? Achi and Hitomi waited for the two men to finish up. If they were spotted, it would probably cause a scene, and worse still, it might alert the men that were hunting them. Damn, that was hardcore. That freaking scary guy. Once they'd carried off the rest of the folding chairs, the men closed the storeroom door. The foreigner could still be somewhere nearby, though, so Achi decided they should hide out in the room a little longer. Yeah, Beta Brand, is Achi going to act in a stage play? Like that one filler episode of Slayers where they just do a play while being hunted by bad guys who also had to do the play to keep up appearances? It was so stupid, and I loved it. God, this blows. I want to get back out there to look for that blue van ASAP, but Achi trailed off as something occurred to him. Wait a second. Now that's weird. Hitomi looked at him inquiringly. Yeah, Achi doing Macbeth. I wish. Tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow. Something day to day until the never-ending thing of time. I forgot. A tale told by an idiot full of sun and fury, signifying nothing. I used to have that memorized. The kidnappers already have the ransom money, yeah? Achi said. That's right. And then they told you that your sister was in some blue minivan. Hey there, Jeff. Isn't that kind of weird? What do you mean? Did you figure that your sister was in the minivan by herself? Well, yes. If one of the kidnappers were with her, they wouldn't need to send me to go get her. Right, Achi said. And yet, the fact was that as soon as the kidnappers had their money, they could have let Hitomi's sister out of the vehicle and just run off. There was no point in sending Hitomi to fetch her personally. A look of revelation dawned on Hitomi's face. Oh. That minivan had already left Oganzaka, she said. And it came back while we were there waiting for it, Achi finished. He thought back to his earlier run-in with the blue vehicle. So then inside that minivan, there had been a bunch of foreigners inside. Which meant the kidnappers had been trying to ambush Hitomi. The kidnappers didn't have any intention of giving her sister back. Is there an option C that means both? I don't frickin' know. But A is for ambush, B is for intention of giving her sister back. So what's it gonna be, ladies and gentlemen? What conclusion should we come to? I get the feeling... I don't think it really matters which one we choose, but which one should we go for? A, they've been trying to ambush Hitomi, or B, no intention of giving her sister back? I suspect both are true. A is a maybe, but like probably B is true. So, we got lots of votes for A. Ambush. They told her that her sister was in that minivan to lure her to it. And the kidnappers have been lying in wait inside. Do you think they were trying to kidnap me too? That's it. Achi clapped his hands together. Then they'd let your sister go and demand a ransom for you. And then they'd make her deliver the ransom money for your release. They'd be able to get, like, infinite ransom money. Only if people have infinite money, you dope. By constantly abducting one twin after the other. That seems a little far-fetched. Oh. Yeah, I guess you're right. Now that she said so, Achi realized it was kind of a ridiculous idea. This isn't a... I mean, well, this is a video game, but in the context of the game, this isn't a video game. Still, what if the kidnappers really were trying to kidnap me, Hitomi said? As in, like, they accidentally abducted the wrong twin? I mean, I guess that would have been easy to botch up. That would imply that they wanted me specifically and not my sister. Hitomi paused briefly and thought. Maybe you're hotter than your sister or something? Ah, good one. She suggested with enthusiasm. Yeah, right, Beta Brand, getting infinite money, working them Yakuza strats. Those people are such idiots, like, I can't pay you any more money. Oh yeah? Well, due to interest, now you owe, like, 1,000,000 billion yen. It's like, they still can't pay you, you dumbass. Hitomi shook her head. That can't be it. If anything, it's the other way around. Compared to my sister, I'm just... Whoa, hey, stop right there. Achi had to interrupt her. You're not just anything. Please don't. I am. I'm just... Tears had welled up in Hitomi's eyes. Why did this have to happen to her? Why not me? Whoa, hey, come on, don't cry. I'm sorry. Cheer up. It's like that song says. Don't just stand there, wipe those tears away. That one. I don't know that one. You know it? Is that... Oh, Ayakamaki. Full circle, baby! We need Osamu coming in and being like, yes! I know the lyrics perfectly. Yeah, that's the one. Put your hand in mine. Every single bee's a... What? Every single bee's a light? Huh? Yeah, huh is the correct response. You know, every single bee is a light. What do you... Is that something that, like, sounds like it might be correct in Japanese, but the meaning makes no sense? Hitomi let out a giggle. Everything will be alright. Okay. You get the lyrics wrong. It's everything will be alright. Ah, right. Yeah, I guess that makes more sense, I guess. That sounds like something they probably had to cover in translation, because an accurate translation of the Japanese would make no sense in English at all. Achi's mouth curled into a sheepish smile. Well, according to that sign, we gotta run. Alright, I think we've laid low long enough, Achi said at last. I think we should be on our way. He was about to get to his feet when he heard voices outside the storeroom again. Yikes, that was pretty careless of us. Yeah, we definitely gotta watch it. The theater guys from earlier had returned, and they sounded a bit panicked. Tomonari Tayaka and Taro Toga, two members of the theater troupe The Wandering Angels. Takaya is the Wandering Angel star actor, but lately, in addition to appearing on their stage, he's been taking on TV drama and film work as well. The next role he's slated is in Sun TV's upcoming suspense drama Sumo Queen 2. Yes! Where he will play the referee who utters the lame line, "Looks like things are getting heavy," upon discovering a victim's dying message inscribed in one corner of the sumo ring. Yo, that Sumo Queen description is killing me every time. Looks like things are getting heavy. Sorry, but you're going to the big house. This game's alright. Heard folks have been messing with the storeroom a bunch recently. Yeah, huh. And did you hear who's behind it? Some juvenile delinquents. Like a gang? Wow, that takes me way back. Alright, let's hurry on back. Ashi rushed over to the door. I'm still feeling that things are getting heavy. He tried turning the knob, but the door wouldn't budge. Oh, come on, are you freaking kidding me? He paced frantically around the room, pulling at his hair. We're locked in! Well, I guess where are the props now? And that door was the only way in or out. Achi and Hitomi were well and truly trapped inside the storeroom. This is all my fault, Achi said. It was my idea to hang it out here in the first place. He bowed to Hitomi repeatedly. We're never going to be able to find that blue minivan now. Guess we'll have to get someone on the outside to help us, Hitomi replied. She scowled thoughtfully. They powered their phones back on in order to call for help. The big question was who they could possibly ask. Hitomi? Anyone you could reach out to? Mr. Tanaka, I suppose? Tanaka, right. The suggestion didn't exactly thrill Achi. He had no idea what this Tanaka guy was like. Hopefully he was the dependable sort who'd actually show up to rescue them. But somehow that thought made Achi feel even worse. Achi had someone he figured he could call, but he hesitated, uncertain. There had been a time when he trusted this guy more than anyone. They'd bailed each other out of countless jams. Nowadays, though, things were different. Hitomi gave Achi a puzzled look as he sat, lost in thought. Right. Guess I don't have much of a choice. Achi scrolled through the contacts list on his cell phone. He found the name he thought he'd never call again. Susumu. Hirasawa? Wow! Hi, says. Yo. Achi? Is that you? Suzumu's voice was low and guarded, so I read that wrong. Look, I got a favor to ask you. I'm in a real bind here. Master, we're in a tight spot. Huh? Like, things are ridiculously bad. I thought maybe you could help me out a little bit? You seriously thought I'd help you? Suzumu's words were like ice. You messing with me or something, man? Now he sounded a touch angry as well. Painful memories flashed before Achi's eyes. Right then, sorry to bug you, just forget it. But Suzumu hung up before Achi was even finished talking. Damn. No dice, Achi said to Hitomi with a lopsided frown. She looked back at him, her expression a mirror of his own. What should we do? What should we do? I guess we're back to Mr. Tanaka. Guess so. You want to go ahead then? Huh. Well... Hitomi tried calling him repeatedly, but Tanaka didn't pick up. What could have happened? She muttered under her breath. Do you think maybe the kidnappers found out that Mr. Tanaka and I have been in contact? Achi shrugged. It looked like they were just going to need to find some way out of here on their own, and then maybe look for the minivan themselves. Achi strode over to the door and grabbed hold of the knob. He tried giving it a good sturdy pull. Ugh, no good. The thing won't even budge. Well, that door opens outward. Wait, really? I should try giving it a push. Oh, I was going to say, it just opens. It still didn't open. He kicked it. Oh, the door wasn't nearly as sturdy as Achi had expected. I think I can make this work. He backed up to get a running start, then kicked the door with all his might. Hi-ya! You're goddamn right. The door went flying off its hinges? Jeez, Achi. Oh man, that was way too easy. Wow, it really went out. Achi stepped cautiously out of the storeroom. He quickly scanned the surrounding area. There was nobody in sight. Looks like we're in the clear, he called. But Hitomi didn't come out, nor did she reply. Hitomi? Oh, I was going to say that's impossible, but no, she's just right there. She had her phone in hand, apparently still trying to get in touch with Tanaka. With a tiny sigh, Achi leaned against the wall and waited for her to finish. Well... Doesn't look like I'm going to have any luck, she said. You know we can leave now, right? Are you still holding out hope for your Mr. Tanaka? Well, it's not that. I'm just a little worried. Oh, yeah? Okie dokie then. I'll just, wait around out here. Okay. Be right with you. Hello, RJX. Uh-huh. Achi shuffled his way back outside. This is a weird scene. Oh, Jesus. Oh, crap. By the time Achi could finish processing the thought, he was already laid out on the ground. His jaw hit the asphalt hard. He bit the tip of his tongue clean off. Wow, the taste of blood filled his mouth. This has got to be a bad end. A moment later, he took a sharp blow to the head. He was done for. All the energy drained from his body. His mind whirled. His vision grew hazy. He began to drift from consciousness. Back when he'd run with Suzumu and the others, he'd never left himself exposed to a surprise attack. There were plenty of times when he'd taken a punch that sent him reeling, only to spin away and come back swinging. This time he hadn't even seen it coming. It was his last mistake. Jeez. Guess I'd let myself go soft. Achi grimaced inwardly, muttering in a voice no one but he could hear. Hitomi, I'm so sorry. Damn, another, like, inevitable bad end. I gotta do something else with some other character. Attacked by the man with the cane. Achi successfully managed to break out of the storeroom, only to be knocked out by the man with the cane while he waited for Hitomi. Things might have gone differently if Hitomi had managed to get in contact with Tanaka. Why hadn't he responded to her calls? Maybe something strange had happened in the Osawa residence? Oh, I said Osamu before I blew it. Or perhaps there was some reason he wasn't able to answer the phone. Oh-ho. So we gotta deal with that. Okay. Let's take a look at other Achi jumps I could do. Or was this the only one? Oh no, it was Tama who jumped. And Achi had to jump to Kano. We can go back to them at least. Let's go. Let's change history, ladies and gentlemen. The car moved at a glacial pace. Now it's different. Toward the Crime Syndicate's hangout. Look at Stanley like, mmm. Stanley pounded his fist on the steering wheel in frustration. They had no sooner set out than the traffic slowed to a near standstill. Despite the occasional lurch, it never crept above a crawl. Kano stood in the passenger seat. The case was rapidly getting out of hand. Now he had to worry about the safety of both Maria and her sister Hitomi. Never mind the fact that Detective Tateno had also gone missing. There were too many unknowns, too many uncertainties. His unease was growing unbearable. Also, Tateno hasn't radioed in, and, like, we can't reach him from our end either. Kuze's words kept echoing inside Kano's head. What could have caused Tateno to drop out of contact? Someone had gone after Hitomi while Kano and the others were busy trailing the attaché case. Could Tateno have been... No, it couldn't be. Kano was sure Tateno would have done whatever was necessary to keep Hitomi safe. Stanley broke the long silence. What's on your mind? Still thinking about that call from Kuze? Kano didn't answer. Look, if you're worrying about that other detective, the guy couldn't even protect one girl, Stanley continued. Not exactly a ringing endorsement. Don't you talk about Detective Tateno that way. I'm concerned about Hitomi Osawa, but the missing attaché case needs... Oh, I'm concerned about Hitomi Osawa, but the missing attaché case needs to come first. Stanley's expression remained stone cold. Kano flashed him a sidelong glare, then went back to staring out the window. A moment later, a flurry of motion in a nearby alley caught his eye. Huh? With a start, he recognized Sasayama. His fellow detective was caught up in an altercation with the man in dark clothes. Kano sprang into action, his body moving almost before his mind registered the situation. Sasayama! Flinging the door open, he leapt out of the car. Hey, what are you... Hey, wait, Stanley called after him. But Kano was already sprinting toward the fight. Jeez. Oof! The other man knocked Sasayama onto a pile of garbage. As Sasayama struggled to get back to his feet, his opponent looked down at him with a triumphant sneer. Kano finally got a good look at the man and his eyes flashed with recognition. It was the perp who'd first taken the attaché case back at the scramble. The guy chasing Achi? Tariq Al-Karawan. You! Kano growled. He sped like a bullet to tackle Al-Karawan around the legs. But Al-Karawan nimbly stepped aside. Kano's arms closed on nothing but air. At the same moment, Al-Karawan deftly wrapped an arm around Kano's neck. Kano felt a vice-like pressure on his carotid artery. A move known as the front choke sleeper hold. Constricting the carotid artery stops blood flow to the brain, causing the opponent to lose consciousness, also known as a guillotine choke. Whoa, it's like that guy from Achi's gang. His consciousness quickly began to slip away. Oh no you don't, you bastard, he snarled. Lowering his center of gravity, he got hold of one of Al-Karawan's legs and used his shoulder as a fulcrum against it. Nice. Despite the arm still crushing his neck, Kano managed to lift his opponent high into the air. Jesus. He continued the movement to heave Al-Karawan up and over himself, slamming him upside down into the heap of trash. That's impressive. Stanley strolled up to the aftermath of the struggle. Well, you got the brawn part down, he said. Need some work on the brains. Al-Karawan was sprawled out atop the mound of refuse. He'd been knocked out cold. Wow. Sasayama coughed and sputtered. Kano went to help him to his feet, but Stanley stepped in between them. What are you doing? Stanley asked. Helping Sasayama. What does it look like? We need to apprehend Al-Karawan first. He's not even conscious. Sasayama could come first. He pushed Stanley aside and crouched down alongside his partner. Are you alright, he asked. Yeah, Sasayama groaned. You bailing me out, though? Can't let the missus know about that. Mum's the word, Kano said. That's a very Japanese expression, I'm sure. He slipped an arm underneath Sasayama and helped him to his feet. I managed to find the guy who had the attaché case, Sasayama said, but when I tried to arrest him, this fella came out of nowhere and attacked me. He flashed Alcarawan a nasty look. So here we go again, disobeying direct orders, Stanley huffed. What's the deal with Japanese police anyway? He shook his head in exasperation. Sasayama gave Kano a puzzled look, jerking his thumb at the American. Who's this guy? It's a long story, Kano said. He filled Sasayama in on the situation. Enough chit-chat. Hurry up and cuff this guy, Stanley said. Kano knelt down by Alcarawan's unconscious body, flipped him over, and proceeded to cuff his hands behind his back. Alright. Kano paused. Alcarawan's sleeve had slid back from his wrist. What's this? A scorpion? Like skull scorpion? Two-headed scorpion? How could you even tell? Like, the sleeve's a little bit over. The unconscious man had a tattoo of a two-headed scorpion in his left forearm. Stanley strode over. You find something? He asked. Yes, I think this guy might be the ringleader. Seeing the image had reminded Kano of something he'd heard back at the headquarters. If you ever see a two-headed scorpion... No, that the head of the foreign syndicate had a scorpion tattoo. Wow, so I was actually kind of right. He relayed this information to Stanley. I see. Stanley called up Kuze in his cell. You'll be happy to know that the guy with the attaché case is still at large, he said. Apprehending the ringleader at this point shouldn't be an issue. One of your so very capable subordinates gave us a big step forward in the case here. Hey! Wait a second, Sasayama murmured. That was sarcasm, wasn't it? Stanley hung up and called over to him. Think you can escort this guy back to the precinct? Yeah, sure, seeing how very capable I am. That's pretty good. Kano felt his phone vibrate. The display showed an incoming call from Rumi. Hello, he answered warily, keeping his voice down. Stanley had him a little on edge. It's me. It was Shizuo. Ooh! Damn it, Kano thought. He did not have time for this right now. But if he just hung up, he might be even deeper hot water. Kano decided he'd have to take that risk. He hung up the phone. Decided he'd better listen to what the old man had to say. Wow, I don't know about this one. A or B? I mean, A is suicide for the old man, but who knows where the story will take us. B might compromise an aspect of our investigation and get more cops up our ass. So what are we doing? A, hang up the phone, or B, talk to Shizuo, the grumpy father of the girlfriend? Yeah, I want to see A. I know, right? Just to see what happens. So we have one vote for A. Anybody else want to weigh in on this one? One vote for B, 2 votes for A. 3 votes for A. A, it can't go well, like purposefully choosing like a bad answer. 3 for A, 4 for A, and 1 for B. 2 for B. So it's 4-2 right now in A's favor. It's looking like we're going toward A, ladies and gentlemen. Well, now it's 3 for B, but it's 5 for A. 4 for B, but it's really damn close. 5 for B. 6 for B, damn. Also, hello, Nathan. B actually came back around. Hello, Radiant Dreamtide. But now it's back to A winning by 1. Jeez, this is like really close. Sex or justice. But it's your boy a Scramble, you never even know. Hello, Avith. It looks like another vote for A. We are slightly going to A. Alright, let's go. This is suicide. Kano hung up the phone. Hello, Eric. Oh no, it immediately vibrates again. Oh god. It promptly rang again, however. Sorry, father-in-law, I really can't talk. I'm in the middle of work right now. I'm not your father-in-law. Oh, it was coincidentally an immediate next call? So it's a good thing we hung up. Because we're getting this call. Sorry? Anyway, bye. Kano bowed politely to his mental image of Rumi's irate father as he hung up once more. Oh, is it the guy? So you hung up on him twice? If it was actually the guy? Oh god. The phone rang yet again. Oh man, this is uncomfortable. Oh man. Oh, it's different. Sir, I'm sorry, I really am in the... Mr. Endo, this is Dr. Saiki calling from Shibuya Central Hospital. Huh? This wasn't Shizuo. Kano didn't recognize the voice at all. Mr. Endo, are you there? Sorry, I think you have the wrong number? Oh, my apologies. I'm in a bit of a hurry. I must have misdialed. The caller hung up. This is probably something we have to influence with someone else's story. What the heck was... or who the heck was that? There's definitely something we could have done with that. Oh no. He stared in incredulity as the phone rang once more. Oh, this is terrible. Whoever it was, they were shouting frantically. And once again, whoever it wasn't Shizuo. Is somebody redirecting to Kano's phone? Like, does somebody put out a number and have everyone's calling it? Hana and I, we got separated. What? Who? I don't know what to do. It doesn't matter if I get away if they wind up catching Hana. Please, you have to help me find her. Oh, that's Toyama, isn't it? The man on the other end of the line sounded like he was on the verge of tears. Kano wasn't sure what it was all about, but the guy was clearly in a pretty bad way. Please, Minorikawa, I'm begging you. Yeah, here we go. Huh? I'm sorry, sir. I think you have the wrong person. But by the time Kano had gotten the words out, the man had already hung up. Hey, come on, let's go. Hey, what are you doing? Stanley's voice snapped Kano out of his daze. Ugh. Grimly, he followed the American back to the car. And we hung up on our father-in-law twice. Oh my god. Oh my god. We are just pissing him off more and more. Yet again, Stanley was thumping the steering wheel in frustration. Traffic hadn't let up one bit. It was starting to look like they might never make it to the Foreign Syndicate's hangout. Kano caught sight of a girl in a hoodie weaving her way between the stopped cars on foot. He rolled down the window and called out to her. Miku Morita, oh yeah, was a fighter at the cosplay fighting pub Bride, but just decided to retire after losing to Tama the cat in a street fight. She's thinking about what to do with herself now. Excuse me, miss? Did something happen? Huh? What do you mean? With the road, I mean. What's with all the traffic? Oh, right. Apparently there was some big accident over by the train station. That's probably what's causing it. Really? Yeah, I don't think you guys are going to be going anywhere for quite a while. She smiled and went on her way. Stanley gave the steering wheel another punch. Well, I guess they did say this wasn't just some typical ransom case, he muttered. Kano saw an opportunity. If they're not after the money, then what are they after? Stanley kept his eyes forward, acting as if he hadn't heard. Look, Kano said, I can't help you if you keep me out of the loop. After a few moments of thought, Stanley replied with a single monosyllable. Drugs. What? Maria's father, Kenji Osawa. I assume you're aware he works for Okoshi Pharmaceutical? I am. Nothing's been made public yet, but Osawa recently oversaw the development of a new drug. It is not at all uncommon for a new drug to be in development for 15 years or more, with expenses totaling 20 to 30 billion yen, roughly 200 to 300 million US dollars, before it's approved. Worldwide demand and sensational profits can be expected if a groundbreaking medicine is developed. Nonetheless, pharmaceutical companies are often under major pressure due to the tremendous costs of labor and equipment. And someone is trying to get their hands on it. Kano's mind latched onto this new information, trying to assemble the pieces of an evolving puzzle. Someone? Who? An international criminal mastermind. This foreign syndicate is merely a tool in someone else's game. Kano regarded Stanley's face carefully. He looked more cold and serious than ever. So wait, does that mean that the reason we're letting the syndicate walk around unfettered is on my orders? Yes. I see. So the only thing you're really concerned with is catching this international mastermind. Precisely. Kano felt like he was starting to get a picture of what sort of person Stanley was. So you don't really care what happens to the girl who's been abducted, do you? Not particularly, no. Jeez. Why? Do you have a problem with that? Kano clenched his fist. His hand was shaking with anger. What? Oh, the dictum? Dictum 8. When you really want to punch something, you really probably shouldn't. That's fantastic. Kano recited the words inwardly like some sort of desperate mantra. Yeah, if he punches Stanley, he's basically dead. If he didn't manage to calm himself down, he was liable to slam his fist right into Stanley's face. Outside the car, the traffic remained at a standstill. Kano chafed against a feeling of utter futility. One after another, his uncertainties came to nag at him. Was Maria still safe? What had happened to Hitomi Tateno, her bodyguard? And now, on top of all this, it struck Kano as rather careless to send Sasayama away without Karawan, without any backup. now that Jack had alerted him to the presence of a dangerous international mastermind still on the loose. Fighting back his fit of pique. There's a definition of pique you never see! Kano got out his cell phone. To do something impulsively out of irritation, resentment, or the like. Similar to doing something in a huff. Yeah, normally pique is used as like, it perks up, like it piqued my interest, but you can have pique like frustration at being ignored or like diminished. That is obscure, man. He dialed up Sasayama. He wanted to make sure his partner had gotten Alcarawan back to the precinct safely. He dialed up Kajiwara, who was stationed at the Osawa residence. He hoped a little more information about the family's 2 daughters might shed some light on the situation. Wow. So Sasayama to see if everything's going according to plan, or a possible crossover into Osawa's story with the creepy Kajiwara. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a genuine question. So A for Sasayama or B for Kajiwara, whom should we call? I am most curious. Winterburn Dictum 1. If you want to punch someone, you should punch them twice. So, B. We have 1 vote for B. Choice D. Punch him. Go home. Punch father-in-law. But yeah, we have 1 vote for B. So, any other takers, please? I'm actually curious about this one. 2 for B. 3 for B. 4 for B. Honestly, I get the feeling B is the correct choice. It's 4-0 to B right now, so I think 5-0. Let's go with B. Called Kajiwara. I hope Kajiwara still shows up in, like, yellow light. The detective answered promptly. Kajiwara here. Hey, it's Kano. Kano? A horrid, jarring beeping was audible from the other end of the line. What's that noise? Kano asked. Sorry, hold on, I can't really hear you. Okay. Go on. It sounded like Kajiwara had moved away from the source of the noise, though Kano could still hear it faintly in the background. Yeah, you can hear it. He explained that he was looking for more info on the Osawa girls. Honestly, Detective Kano, I thought you were more mature than this, Kajiwara said disapprovingly. Come again? Kano said bewildered. What's with the attitude all of a sudden? You've got a little crush, don't you? Kajiwara told him. What? No, Detective, that isn't why... You mustn't let yourself get personally attached to an investigation. Still, I was young and impulsive myself once. I guess I can tell you one thing. Kano kept his cell phone pressed tight against his ear. The 2 girls? They look exactly alike. Kajiwara kept his voice low, as if he were revealing a major secret. But Kano knew this already. Everyone assigned to the investigation had been informed that the girls were twins at the previous night's briefing. However, Kajiwara continued, still sotto voce? I never knew how to say that right. Their personalities are pretty different. The younger sister Hitomi is quiet and reserved, but Maria is apparently more of a busybody. Ah, I see. Kano thought back on Hitomi, standing in front of the statue of Hachiko. She had indeed seemed like an introvert, though Kano had also sensed her intense commitment to helping her sister. Perhaps she was less demonstrative, but her heart certainly seemed to be in the right place. Why? Kano heard someone shouting in the background, wherever Kajiwara was. What was that just now? He asked. Mr. Osawa, the girl's father. I think something might have happened. Kajiwara's voice was laced with concern. I should go see what this is all about. Yeah, probably. But Kano, tell me. Yes? Which one is it? Which one do you have a crush on? I love how Kajiwara trolls everybody. Kano hung up. Kajiwara is a freaking treasure. At long last, traffic began to move again. Ah! Almost as soon as it did, however, Stanley had to slam on the brakes. Is this Achi again? The abrupt stop made Kano smack his head against the windshield. Hey, what gives? Look, Stanley said. He gestured with his chin. Oh, the guy... Oh, damn. So the guy chasing Achi, the same guy, yeah, apparently he escaped Sasayama. So... Kano couldn't believe his eyes. There, walking along the sidewalk ahead, was Alcarawan, very much not in custody. Unless... He's an identical twin. What the hell? Kano shouted, already hopping out of the car. Stanley was right behind him. They crept up on their target as silently as possible, then rushed him once they were close. In a moment, they had subdued him. Kano used his own body weight to hold Al-Karawan down. "What are you doing out here?" he demanded. "Whoa, hey, guess you didn't get the memo, huh?" Al-Karawan flashed a coy grin. "They let me go." "Let you go?" "I think your buddy here might have hearing problems," Al-Karawan said to Stanley. "I'm a free man." Kano turned and glared at Stanley. "What is he talking about?" "No idea. First things first, get this guy back to the precinct. I'll head to the syndicate hang-out by myself." "You don't think this is weird?" Kano asked. "I mean, what the heck is this guy doing on the loose again?" "What matters is that he is free. Maybe he's telling the truth about being let go." "But that's ridiculous." "Then I guess he must have escaped on his own," Stanley replied. "In either case, your buddy screwed up royally. Now it's on you to unscrew things." That's a good point. Either Sasayama screwed up and let him get away, or Sasayama screwed up by arresting him in the first place. This is insane. None of this sat right with Kano, but the fact remained that he couldn't just let Al-Karawan go. He gave Stanley detailed directions to the hangout, and the car sped away towards Yoyogi. Then Kano headed back to the precinct with his captive, trying to reassure himself that he might learn something from questioning Al-Karawan that would help resolve the case. Kano sat opposite Al-Karawan in the interrogation room. He'd been attempting to interview the suspect for about a quarter of an hour. Al-Karawan sat ramrod stiff, not responding to any prompts or questions. "What time is it right now?" he asked. They'd taken away his watch, his wallet, a small knife, and his keychain. This was the third time he'd asked to know the time. "Why are you so concerned what time it is?" Kano asked. Al-Karawan gave no reply. "Are you waiting on something?" Again, the suspect was staunchly silent. Kano wasn't sure what to make of this, but he took a look at his watch. "It's around 2 o'clock, he said. "What time exactly?" 2:18? 2:18 in how many seconds? "Look, just cut the crap." Kano grabbed the prisoner by the collar. "What the hell are you people after?" Al-Karawan merely repeated his question. "What time is it right now?" With a growl of aggravation, Kano shoved his wristwatch in Al-Karawan's face. "Ah, it's 2:20, Al-Karawan said. "Okay then, that should do it." "What? What does that mean?" The interrogation went on for several more hours. Despite Kano's best efforts, however, Al-Karawan said nothing more. During all that time, the case continued to develop in unexpected ways, but Kano, stuck in the interrogation room, knew nothing about it until everything was already over and done. Another bad end. That's such a pain in the ass. Bad end. Questioning Al-Karawan. While Kano performed admirably in recapturing Tariq Al-Karawan, ironically, his action actually disrupted the investigation. Maybe letting the syndicate run free for the time being really was the right call. Someone could do something at 1340, so 140, that throws a wrench into Kano's activities thanks to the involvement of unrelated parties, and Kano's reaction will make the investigation play out differently. Strange. What a pain in the ass. There is just no way out. So I gotta jump again if I could find the way to do it. So I can't do that with Kano. Oh, that's the previous hour. Minorikawa can't do it. Tama has all the jumps. So let's go to this jump. An unfamiliar man. Whoops! Sorry to keep you waiting! A man I don't recognize. Minorikawa, baby. Damn! How do I make this work? How do I make this work? That's a pain in the ass. Achi had a jump. Oh, that was the jump to Kano, though? Did I already do this? Yeah, I did this already. Damn. And Kano had done... So Tama, other Tama stuff? No, it's still grayed out. Damn, I gotta do something differently. Perhaps a different choice with Minorikawa. Do Osawa? Yeah, I could check out Osawa. Yeah, this probably won't make a difference. Osawa didn't have jumps. Huh. Yeah, I probably should play Minorikawa. I just want to see what happens if I refuse to deny the US job. Couldn't this wait a little bit, sir? Maybe you could still find a way out. You already know what my decision is, Makino said. His tone carried an edge of intimidation. Osawa didn't reply. He simply stared at the telephone. He felt like an insect who'd had his legs plucked off. You need to think about your wife, too. Makino's words were barely above a murmur. Realizing that his boss was speaking as Ai's father, Osawa couldn't bring himself to resist further. Okay, no way out. Reach for the phone. Okay, that was a non-choice. There was a couple a while back, but we didn't choose it. Didn't we, though? There's still another jump, but it's the jump to Achi. We did that. Yeah, this is what allowed Achi's story to continue, I think, wasn't it? Or had I not done that before? Yeah, we already did that. I probably should do something different with Minorikawa. That got us nowhere. This will probably also get us nowhere. I could always look stuff up if I have to. If you don't do this, I'm just gonna go home. And no need for that, sir. It still sounds like the same thing. 2 minutes. This is still a keep out, though, isn't it? Because we've already read this. We've already done this. Time's up. Nani! But it's still keep out, isn't it? Yeah, it's still keep out. Oh, yeah. Maybe I should choose something different with Kano. That's a good call. I forgot the picking of the phone thing. Maybe I'll do that. Good call. Yeah, let's take a look at that. What if I... Sasayama was like, eh. So what if I don't hang up? Hello, sir. I'm afraid I'm not really at liberty to take a personal call right now, even if it is from my father-in-law. He did his best to sound apologetic. I'm not your father-in-law. Yes, of course. Sorry, sir. He bowed his head reflexively, feeling like an idiot. You really don't give a damn about keeping me waiting like this, do you? Sir, I swear to you, I feel terrible. Please, I just... Flustered, he took a deep breath and recomposed himself. I promise you, sir. I promise I'll be there. If you could just wait a little while— Don't make promises you can't keep! Shizuo's barking rebuke made Kano break out in a sweat. You think I'm gonna let you off the hook just because you're working a case? This is exactly why I don't want my daughter with some detective. Great. Another angry tirade. But didn't you used to be a detective, sir? Kano muttered. You watch yourself, you little brat. It's not enough that you keep calling me your father-in-law. Now you have to bring that up? Evidently, Kano had touched a raw nerve. Ever have a dentist hit a nerve while drilling a tooth? That's where this expression comes from. Ugh. Ugh. It seemed like anything he said only made matters worse. Well, you're not off the hook, Shizuo continued. I am never letting my daughter marry the likes of you. Jesus. His fury hitting its crescendo, Shizuo promptly hung up. Wouldn't that mean hitting its climax? I thought he'd already been crescendoing. Why on earth did Shizuo hold such intense malice toward police detectives when he'd been one himself? Kano had become a detective for Rumi's sake in the first place, and now it was the biggest thing holding him back. Hey, come on, let's go. I can't skip this, so this might be good. Follow the American back to the car. We might be doing something. I don't... Now it's this. Still leading to a bad end, so I don't know how much that mattered. Yeah, there's a lot of skipping going on here. Getting out the cell phone. What if we call someone else? Kajiwara was almost certainly the correct choice, but what if we call Sasayama? Actually, wait a minute. If we call Sasayama, he might tell us not to bother with Alcarawan. This might be the way to figure this out. So we won't jump and waste our time, right? Sasayama picked up almost right away. Kana, what's up? How are things on your end? Any problems getting Alcarawan back? Nah, I've got Tateno taking care of him. Wait, what? Kano could hardly believe his ears. You were in touch with Tateno, he asked? He could hear the shock in his own voice. Yeah, just bumped into him over by the precinct a little while ago. Then he is safe. Kano felt a surge of relief. What about Hitomi then? Stanley glanced over at him, curious. Tateno says he lost track of her somehow, and then he got called back to the precinct, apparently. Tateno had lost track of her? That's not like him, Kano thought. Since he was heading back there anyway, I handed our guy over to him, Sasayama said. I see. Kano was glad to hear that Tateno was alright, but his relief was tempered by a surge of anger at the thought of what had happened to Hitomi. Now I'm back to tailing the attaché case, Sasayama continued. Today is my wife's birthday, you know. My plan is to wrap this thing up ASAP so we can celebrate tonight. I've already got a present and everything. I envy you, man. Closing his eyes, Kano took a moment to picture Rumi, but Shizuo's face popped into his mind's eye, right alongside her. Well, just hang in there, buddy. Even if your girlfriend is just a picture of Masami Nagahama. Midoriyama Academy graduate and national celebrity. Her popularity shows no signs of slowing down after she played the female lead in such films as The Beast That Hoarded Gold at the Heart of the World and The Swidden Fortress. There is another nationally famous actress with the same name, but it's a nationally known fact that the two are completely separate people. Okay. Ha ha ha! Still snickering, Sasayama hung up. Kano bit his lip and slipped his phone back into his pocket. Interesting. At long last, traffic began to move again. Oh, and we're back here. But yeah, so it didn't matter. So Sasayama talked about handing off Alcarawan and we're still in trouble. So that didn't help, although it was cool, different information, but that was a non-choice. So 1340. Who can we deal with at 1340? Oh, there it is. Well, cooking with Kajiwara. Look at that. So Osawa was the correct way. Ask Tanaka to make him lunch. He calls Tanaka. Osawa gave him a hurried phone call and his assistant director was quick to agree. I'm having Mr. Tanaka help me here, he told Kajiwara. By all means, go back to your investigation. Hey! Kajiwara said. I hope you don't think I'm not inclined to help you out. Since when had helping out been Kajiwara's strong suit? That's not the issue, Osawa said. My, it's such a shame. A friend being treated like a stranger. Oh, how I would love it if you were an actual stranger to me. Oh, Winterburn, you have to get 50 plus bad ends to unlock something? That's fine. After I beat the game, I am going to actively hunt for bad ends, because they're like half the fun. While Osawa was still struggling to turn down Kajiwara's assistance, Tanaka arrived, his sleeves rolled up. He'd already removed his jacket and his necktie. All right, he said, what are we making? He sounded happy enough. Apparently he didn't mind cooking. This was a side of Tanaka that Osawa had never seen before. He's still doing that. Oh, will you be helping out as well, detective? I was reading that as Kajiwara. Tanaka regarded Kajiwara in his apron. Of course. It's all part of my duties while I'm stationed here. Understood. Let's get started then, shall we? The pair, now there's both, began rummaging about the kitchen, forming an immediate bond of camaraderie. Aww! Kajiwara peered into the refrigerator. Goodness, you are remarkably understocked, he said. Let's see, could you please put these in the dinger, Mr. Osawa? The detective handed Osawa, so we've read this before, handed Osawa some frozen lumps of rice. You want me to help out? Of course. It is your rice, after all. Osawa wasn't sure how to respond to that. Please go ahead and ding those. Ding? I'm afraid I'm not familiar with dinging. I mean heat them in the microwave oven, sir. I can't skip this. This may be new. Unfortunately, he stepped over to the microwave. Unfortunately, he had no idea how to work the controls. You should thaw that rice out as soon as possible, Kajiwara told him. I'm actually not sure how to operate this thing. What? The detective gasped. You don't know how to use a microwave? Kajiwara gave him a look of disbelief. It should be just as simple as turning the dial. Osawa turned the dial labeled thaw, then crossed his arms with a satisfied grin. Mr. Osawa, I'm sure you already know this, but you need to put the rice inside first and then turn on the dial. Osawa swallowed quietly. He put the frozen rice into the microwave, then turned the dial once more. I don't know what everyone expects, he muttered sullenly. It's not like I've ever used one of these things before. Mr. Osawa, why don't you take this and go wait somewhere? Kajiwara pulled out a sheet of bubble wrap. Oh yeah, this. Bubble wrap first showed up on the planet Earth. That's weird. In the 1960s. It was originally developed not as a packing material, but as a form of wallpaper and a type of cover to prevent leaves from falling into swimming pools. These products did not sell well, however, and the manufacturer instead began to market the wrap as a packing material, after which it became a hugely successful product. What is this for? Use your fingers to pop the bubbles. That should help you calm down. Yep, we've read this. Oh, well, Mr. Tanaka, Kajiwara said, after they spent a little time working at the stove. You probably don't need to stay any longer. Sorry for the trouble. It's quite all right, Tanaka replied. With so little in the way of ingredients, I guess there wasn't much I could really do. Shoulders slumped, he glanced over at Osawa. I'll leave this in your hands then, detective. Are you sure you don't mind? Should I go out and purchase some more ingredients? No, that's fine. Thank you for all the trouble. No, I apologize for not being more helpful. Tanaka washed his hands and left the kitchen. Or I think I read the voices in reverse, but... Rather than we've read this. It was making him incredibly cross. It felt like a punishment. They say you can learn a lot about a household by looking in the fridge, you know. Kajiwara was cooking something in a frying pan. And Osawa asked, what have you... Yeah, we've done this. I'll skip ahead and see if that did anything. Because I summoned Tanaka briefly, right? And this time is serious. Tanaka poked his head in the kitchen. I got something urgent to discuss with you. So that was always the case. I don't know if it mattered if Tanaka helped cook. Does that still keep out? I don't know, man. Do I call Ai the wife? Oh. Did that change anything if I go back to Achi? Why were they in the van probably won't change anything. This is probably a non-choice. Kidnappers didn't have any intention of giving your sister back. The more Achi thought about it, the less sense it made for them to send Hitomi to get her. There had to be some other reason they wanted Hitomi to go to that minivan, but what? Do you think they were trying to kidnap me too? That's it! Then they let your sister go into Mana Ransom free. It's the same thing. It's just the same thing. I'll make it save. Still a bad end. 1340. What do I do with this? Like, I'm just missing Kano here. But it skips straight to a bad end. I mean, Yorikawa is at keep out. Fighting Miku didn't matter either way. Or actually it did for someone else's story. Yeah, that didn't matter. Call his wife? I don't freaking know. Maybe the decision's further up? Well, I was specifically told 1340, though. But you may be right. There may be a different decision to make somewhere else. So I'm going to have Ai make something. He called his wife on the intercom to make the suggestion. Absolutely not, she scoffed. Besides, I'm not even hungry. Roughly an hour earlier, Osawa slipped out of the house and went to the Café Lautrec down near the train station where she ordered a sandwich and some black tea. Hanging up on the receiver, Osawa turned back to Kajiwara. Okay, guess you're cooking. And it's the same every way. So, okay. The bug tracker? I don't freaking know, man. Oh, Dragon Ace, rush the door when the guy's looking? I could try that. Hear the detective out. What is it? Osawa asked. Go on, tell me. He did his best to remain composed. Well, you see, we ordered lunches for everyone. It looked like there were Is this the same thing? My deepest apologies, sir. We've already read this. I'm just gonna skip this so it gets the save. Tanaka is an excellent troll. We got that cutting glass sound. Get your goddamn act together. But then, oh no, Osawa was hungry. Hey. It would behoove him to eat something. I love that word, and I love that transition. Alright. Yeah, Achi busts through the door. I don't know if that's what I'll need to do, but I'll try it. But I don't think I'm supposed to do that. I think I'm supposed to wait, but we'll see what happens when I bust out the door. Right now, they were little more than trapped rats. But... Hitomi clutched onto Achi's arm hard. Can I help you with something? Said a casual voice. So it didn't matter. It didn't even matter. Well... So I gotta try someone else's options. Well, that'll interfere with someone else's ending. I can't do that. And then there's a skip. But Minorikawa's got something to do, but like, what he does doesn't seem to matter. I'll go to what if it doesn't start and choose the last option just for funsies. I'm gonna be heartbroken. Hey now, no need for that, sir. Yeah, it really didn't matter. Alright. So there's that. There's gotta be something to do with Osawa. I don't think this will make a difference, but I'll try it. Cornered by Kajiwara. Tell the truth. Talk to Kajiwara. One of my colleagues is waiting for me outside. Who is it? I'm sorry, that's all I can say. Could you tell me a bit about what you'll be discussing? Kajiwara leaned in even closer. His eyes twinkled with suspicion. I can't share corporate secrets, detective. Like how you don't tell me anything about the state of your investigation. It goes both ways. It might have been childish reasoning, but it worked on Kajiwara. Alright, the detective said. In that case, I have one condition, so it doesn't matter. Yeah. It's probably some jump that I need to find and somehow missed. I gotta look that up. Meowington, the previous chapter should not change anything. Each chapter exists within its own little universe. So Tama's jump we did. Come to think of it, there is a third jump that but I can't do it, can I? Damn, what do I have to do for this? Well, that was kind of funny, but it shouldn't matter. There's gotta be something I do with Minorikawa. Wait, is this new? Or was this the Achi thing? Wait, I wasn't able to do this before. Did I successfully activate the jump? I don't know why it works this time. I must have changed something, but we're good now. That was weird. Ladies and gentlemen, we're moving. We did it. Ah, Oops, sorry to keep you waiting, a girlish voice exclaimed. A moment later, a furry figure came charging into the demo room. The crowd fell silent at the sight of a young woman in a cat costume. The cat girl panted visibly. Her arms were loaded with cardboard boxes. You're late, the event organizer snapped. What the heck have you been doing? Grabbing the newcomer by one paw, he vanished with her into the back room. The chubby-cheeked girl wrapped up her magic routine and hurried after them. The audience stared at the now empty stage in confusion. Several minutes passed before the organizer reappeared. Ladies, terribly sorry to have kept you waiting, he called out, but now I'm proud to introduce to you the worldwide sensation that is Burning Hammer! At a signal, the young woman and the cat appeared on stage. Allow us to explain just how this revolutionary new diet drink works its magic, the young woman exclaimed cheerily. Get it? The cat nodded and threw out her arms. For the first time in human history, you could drink a single bottle and lose a whole kilogram. Just drink and burn that excess weight away. And with that, the sales demo was underway. A good 25 minutes behind schedule. That's pretty bad. 5 minutes into the presentation, things began to go awry. An angry clamor filled the room. What the heck are you trying to pull? I can't believe you'd actually try to sell something like this. The outrage had been triggered by something the young woman on stage had said. She did inadvertently let slip that Burning Hammer was the sort of thing you could buy at a 100-yen shop. That would be cut... Oh, the would-be. That makes sense. The would-be customers were furious to learn that they were about to be played for suckers. Most of them had immediately tried to storm out of the room. Now, the organizer, the full-figured young woman, and the girl in the cat costume were at the door, doing their best to hold back the tide. Things had gotten pretty interesting, really. Minorikawa pulled out his digital camera and started firing off snapshots at the angry crowd. Some modern digital cameras come with a remarkable ability to automatically trigger the shutter when the subject smiles. This function also works if the camera is presented with a TV or photo image of people smiling. There are even cases of cameras recognizing faces in the wood grain of ceilings. After all, if we can make out faces in the wood when we're gazing lazily into the ceiling, we can't fault the camera for doing the same. Unfortunately, the frenzy was so intense that he was soon caught up with the flow and pushed out of the room. Fine, I guess I'll just need to do some interviews instead of getting pictures. Excuse me, he asked one woman. Would you mind if I ask you some— Shut your mouth. Would you mind telling me a little about— Don't you talk to me! Can I get a word on— Unbelievable, just unbelievable. The women were so enraged that Minorikawa couldn't get anything to give him the time of day. Well, that's a bummer. Before long, the entire crowd had surged out of the room and departed. Ah, well, guess I've got enough to do a write-up at least, though it would be nice to get a quote from somebody. He decided to try for an interview with the man who'd organized this fiasco. How did the guy feel, for instance, about his product scam falling through? Oh, here we go. This was the other jump point. Heading back into the event room, Minorikawa passed by the cat mascot. Wham! The cat gave him a tiny nod and walked off without a word. He couldn't see the face of the girl inside the costume, but she seemed genuinely dejected that Burning Hammer had been a bust. Hey, I'm Minoru Minorikawa, freelance reporter. I was wondering if I could have 5 minutes of your time? The organizer sat alone in the midst of his ruined displays. Oh, it's you. The man's voice had lost all of his earlier punch. Here, my credentials. Minorikawa handed him a business card. Oh wait, the word unbelievable was written twice but differently? Oh, that's crazy. I didn't see that. The man introduced himself as Yanagishita, and Minorikawa got right down to business. So your sales demo is over, Mr. Yanagishita. How do you feel right now? How do I feel? Well, tomorrow is another day, I guess. Minorikawa was impressed by the guy's candor. I'm a little surprised to hear that, he said. I figured you'd be more disappointed. Oh, I'm plenty disappointed. I took a big gamble here to repay my debts and I lost. Yanagishita didn't seem to be trying to hide anything. Debts? Minorikawa asked. There was a girl I was in love with, Yanagishita said. I wound up spending everything on her. What, Miku? He stared wistfully into the distance. Ah, interesting, Minorikawa said. You wouldn't be the first man to go into such lengths for a woman. Yeah, Yanagishita said. I suppose not. A rueful smile crossed his lips. This guy didn't strike Minorikawa as some dyed-in-the-wool scam artist. But I decided it was time to stop feeling sorry for myself, Yanagishita went on. There are plenty of people in the world who have it way worse off, you know? You got that, right? Minorikawa nodded in agreement. So I just figure, well, as long as I'm still alive, maybe another opportunity will come my way. A more earnest smile broke through Yanagishita's forlorn expression. Minorikawa wished Toyama could have been there to hear this fellow. I have a friend who's in an incredible amount of debt myself, Minorikawa said. He runs a publishing company, but there was a big mix-up with the scratch cards in his magazine, and... Scratch cards? It's not important, Minorikawa said hurriedly. Letting more people know about the whole scratch card fiasco certainly wouldn't do Toyama any favors. Anyhow, debt is a terrible thing, Minorikawa now was sagely. By the way, this is unrelated, but are you familiar with a group called SOS? Apparently there's some legendary street gang here in Shibuya. SOS? Yanagishita shook his head. No, never heard of them. Guess I'm not going to get into leads on that case here. Minorikawa wondered if there was anything else worth asking this guy. Maybe Yanagishita would be willing to take a Shibuya Now survey? No, nothing really came to mind. It was about time to wrap this up. So more information, but it takes up time, or risk losing information, but we have more time to do other things. Remember, Minorikawa's on a tight schedule. So information, like, either way it's a gamble, right? We might get some good stuff, or we might waste what precious time we have. So what'll it be, ladies and gentlemen? A for the interview, or B for leave? How's it gonna be? We have 1 vote for A, 2 votes for A, 3 for A, 4 for A. Okay, I think we're kind of sweeping this. Taking a little bit of the burden off of Chiaki seemed like a good idea. I have another question. How do you feel about your life right now? Huh? How do you feel about your life? Your products aren't selling, you can't repay your debts, and yet you still refuse to give up, believing opportunity will still come your way. Or will come your way. Hello there, Lorem Ipsum. How do you feel about all that? Yanagishita paused and thought. I'd say I'm a pretty lucky guy. Minorikawa was taken somewhat aback by that response. I haven't been able to sell any Burning Hammer, and sure, I can't pay off my debts. But even so, Yanagishita looked Minorikawa right in the eye. The 2 cute young girls I got working for me have stuck with me through thick and thin. Sometimes, maybe you just need to be content with something like that, you know? That was refreshingly forthright. Minorikawa was surprised. And I mean, so what if I got debts? Yanagishita went on. In the long run, none of that matters. Not really. There was a knock at the door. Oh, excuse me a moment, Yanagishita said. I wonder who that could be. He opened the door and his face froze. Don't tell me they found him again. Damn. Wasn't quite quick enough. Mr. Minorikawa? Yes? You'll have to pardon me. I've had a little something crop up here, so if you don't mind... Oh, sure, not a problem. I got other interviews I need to get to anyway, so I'll just... Yanagishita was out the door before Minorikawa could even finish. Oh boy. Stepping out into the hallway, Minorikawa could faintly hear voices from the adjoining demo room. It sounded like Mr. Yanagishita and 2 other men. Yup. Minorikawa couldn't make out any words, but he could tell they were arguing about something. It was probably some consumer complaint against one of his products, or an issue with a client company, something along those lines. Man, people who run companies sure have it rough. You hang in there, Mr. Yanagishita. This is probably the wrong decision, unfortunately. Even though that was a really good scene, that was probably the wrong decision. Oh, perfect timing. Oh, this guy. Minorikawa stopped short as a familiar voice called out to him. It was the man he'd spoken to earlier that afternoon about the surveillance cameras. Hey, come here for a sec. The man waved him over. Ugh, what is it? I'm real busy right now. I got a scoop for you. Saw it with my own eyes. So maybe we should have stayed in? Minorikawa raised an eyebrow. Give me the details. Okay, so a little while ago I saw some foreign guy in handcuffs arguing with someone who looked like a detective. A foreigner in handcuffs? Had there been some kind of international sting or something? Whatever the case, it wasn't such a rare thing to see. Where was this? Just over there, behind the police station. Minorikawa furrowed his brow. A suspect arguing with a cop outside a police station wasn't all that weird. Still, he had a feeling he was missing something here. Well, the big thing is what happened afterward, the man said. Afterward? The man leaned in conspiratorially. The detective undid the guy's handcuffs and let him run off. Well, what? I'm telling you, man, it had to have been like a bribe or something. A bribe? That seemed unlikely. I swear that's what it had to be. There was some wheel greasing going on. You're not making this all up, are you? Minorikawa asked. He regarded the man coldly, but the guy still seemed quite legitimately worked up. It's all true. Please, you have to report this to the police right away. Why do I have to? Minorikawa asked. If you have a tip for the police, go give it to yourself. He didn't quite manage to stop himself from saying that out loud. No, I can't. I'm no good when it comes to the police. Besides, they're never going to believe someone like me. Okay, so maybe he had a point there. But you're some world-class reporter, right? The cops will totally take your word over that of a random nobody. Minorikawa didn't have time to debate the point. It was easier to just make the call. He phoned at the police to leave the tip. The man bowed repeatedly, looking pretty grateful. Huh. Oh, thank you so much. I haven't been able to get any business done with those scary thugs around. What thugs? What line of business are you in, anyway? What? The man suddenly went pale. Whoops. I gotta get going. He skidded off in alarm. Huh. Oh, the Dodo wheel greasing? That's basically bribing. You know, literally greasing a wheel makes it go. So if you bribe somebody, if they take the bribe, then you can get out of there more quickly. That's the logic behind that. Minorikawa was left to wonder what this guy's line of work actually was, but he had more important things to worry about at that moment. He hurried off in the other direction. Huh. So if nothing came of it, then maybe we shouldn't have given the interview and just walked out earlier. Before long, he arrived back at Cafe Lautrec. The clock on the wall showed it was close to 2 o'clock. He had to somehow fill 6 more pages before the loan company came to Heaven Publishing to collect. He booted up his laptop. "What's with this coffee shop?" said a low, stern voice. "You got no good magazines here." Minorikawa looked up. An older man was complaining to one of the waitresses. It was the same guy who had been yelling at his daughter earlier. Evidently, he'd been here at the cafe this whole time. "Have you got any magazines for me to read?" The man's face was a mask of irritation. Minorikawa glanced at the magazines in the rack. They were mostly geared toward a younger reader. The waitress sifted through the stacks and pulled something from the back. "Perhaps this would be to your liking, sir," she said. She held out an issue of 4-star General Gossip. Ha! "Don't be ridiculous," the man spat dismissively. "This is vulgar, low-grade filth. I wouldn't even use the paper it's printed on for compost." That was a harsh way to put it, but Minorikawa couldn't fault him for speaking the truth. Oof. The man continued grumbling as he went back to his seat. What an asshole customer. Minorikawa headed over to the magazine rack himself and picked up the Gossip. He opened the front cover and found the scratch card still inserted within. If these things were still out there, it was bad news. Toyama might end up even further in debt. Bah! Minorikawa yanked the scratch card out and tore it to bits. "Sir, what are you doing?" The waitress rushed to stop him, only for the pieces to rain down on her like confetti. "The magazine itself is still perfectly readable," Minorikawa said. "There's no problem here." He strode back to his seat and gazed at his laptop screen. Huh. It still hadn't finished booting up. In the meantime, he decided to give Chiaki a call. There is so much going on right now. She picked up right away. "Hello?" Minorikawa asked. "Hi there. Good to hear from you," Chiaki replied. "Wow. How's progress?" "I did it," Chiaki said, her voice overcome with emotion. "I managed to get people to hear me out." "Of course you did. You got your pointers from me." "Yes, I couldn't have done it without you, Mr. Mino." Her mood had done a complete 180. Minorikawa allowed himself a little sigh of relief. "Okay then," he said. "Head back to the editing department and put together an article for me." "You got it, sir," Chiaki chirped in reply. "I'll email you as soon as I'm done with things on my end," Minorikawa told her. "Just use the DDP to slot your piece into the right spot in the layout." Desktop publishing refers to the process of editing a manuscript's layout in a computer preparatory to sending it to the printer, also used to refer to the software used for creating such layouts. Creating layout data that is ready for printing but has not actually been printed yet is also sometimes called DDP. "Sure thing." Minorikawa hung up, then rolled up his sleeves. He sure was towing a pretty narrow line today. The Burning Hammer event had kept him a little longer than anticipated. Now he needed to clean up his copy as soon as possible in order to stick to his schedule. When he turned back toward his laptop, however, he froze with shock. What? His laptop monitor was still a black, empty screen. There's no way it would take this long to finish booting up. Oh, it couldn't be. No, don't let it be true. Had his computer decided to pick now, of all times, to give up the ghost? Minorikawa felt the blood drain from his face. That is an actual nightmare. If that's to be continued, then that is some bad news. Oh, God. That's like, this is the canonical thing to happen. What a freaking disaster. Although, I am going to go back and not do the interview. Thank you for your time, Mr. Yanagishita. If you'll excuse me, though, I have to get to another interview. Oh, no, of course. Allow me to walk you out. There we go, see? Yanagishita rose to his feet as Minurikawa got up to leave. Oh, that won't be necessary. There's no trouble. I'm heading out now myself. Gotta run before those guys show up. What guys do you mean? Oh, nobody. Just a personal thing is all. They parted ways outside the building, and Minurikawa... Yeah, see, we saved them! And Minurikawa headed out to the cafe to put his article together. We did it! Hey, Fool Arcana. Perfect timing. Oh, we still would have hit this guy. But we saved Mr. Yanagishita! Hey! So, we did this. I don't know if anything would come of this, but I'll jump to Tama. I don't think it would make a difference, honestly. Both of them had their own things. You know, Tama's got her own keep out later. So it really didn't matter. I do like that, though. The man I noticed earlier. So her keep out is at 140. I can't scroll down for Achi. We might have done it. He heard voices outside again. This is all my fault. We've been there. So we might have saved Achi. This would be great. They powered back their phones. Oh, she's getting a call. That's me. She took a look at the LCD display. Okay, we got it. We're doing it. It's an email from Mr. Tanaka. Ah, okay. Hitomi began typing out a response with practiced ease. More wild illusions rose in Achi's mind. Ideas or fantasies conjured up in one's mind with no logical or factual basis. People could become deluded for varying reasons, about a whole host of different subjects. Thankfully, Achi's delusions here are of an ultimately harmless sort. Come on! Stealing a quick glance at Hitomi, he noticed her gazing happily at her phone's screen. His delusions ran even more wild. Yes, I was hoping for another stupid... Come on. With that, like, filter on top of the roses. While he was still fretting furiously, Hitomi finished typing her response. So, what did you wind up saying? Achi asked. I explained the situation. They were trapped in a storeroom, you've got some guys chasing after you, and you're looking for some ban? Yes, I also asked him to please keep this a secret from my family and the police. Whoever this Tanaka guy was, Hitomi sure seemed to put a lot of trust in him. A short while later, Hitomi's phone chimed with a reply. She checked the screen in a flash, all eagerness. Achi couldn't help but ask, so, what's that Tanaka guy have to say? Did his utmost to pretend he didn't notice. I don't know if this choice matters, but what should we choose? A is for ask, and B is for but did his utmost to pretend he didn't notice. What are we gonna do? Ask for information, and maybe get it, maybe not? Or keep our mouth shut and definitely not? How's it gonna be? A, let's be nosy. That's 1 vote for A. 2 for A. 3 for A. 4 for A. Okay, I think I get the idea. 5 for A. Alright, let's go. 6 for A. A hint of jealousy slipped into his voice. He says he's gonna try to find the minivan for us. Huh? If he just comes and lets us out, I can go look for it myself. Well, he says he wants us to hide out here a little longer. Aw, what the hell, seriously? Well, he says that if someone's after me, it's safer to stay where we are. Yeah, I'm out of the running, Achi thought to himself. This Tanaka was clearly pretty concerned for her, and there was really only one reason a middle-aged man would think like that. Alright, fine, we'll wait. Achi turned his own phone off, then slumped back in a huff. After 20 more minutes in the storeroom, the two were sitting in silence. Achi had run out of things to talk about. Do you think you'll ever be friends again? You and that one guy? Susumu, I think it was? Hitomi's question caught Achi off guard. He stammered, unsure how to respond. Hitomi shook her head. I'm so sorry. I barely know you. That was insensitive of me. No, it's all right. I mean, sometimes I wish things could go back to the way they used to be, Achi said. He let out a tiny sigh. Would that Kiryu guess it was the truth? I was the guy who founded SOS. Do you know what I mean by that? Hitomi gave a slight nod. I mean, I never wanted to be in charge of a gang or anything, but I knew that if I left, SOS would just fall apart. And I didn't want everyone else to get all caught up over who would take my place, you know? So I thought long and hard about it, looking for a way for folks to stay friends even after I was gone. The loud voice echoed through the pool hall that served as SOS's HQ, an establishment for playing pool, and more formally known as pocket billiards. This particular place is a pool bar, serving alcohol. The standard pool table is rectangular in shape, sports 6 pockets, 4 in the corners and 1 in the middle of each long side, and supports multiple games, including 9-ball, 8-ball, and rotation. There are also tables without pockets. This style is known as carom billiards. Huh. What do you mean you're leaving? Susumu was positively red in the face. You're our founder, Achi. You can't just up and quit. Susumu had been almost like a younger brother to Achi. If anyone was going to try to stop him, Achi knew full well it would be Susumu. Look, I'm not gang leader material. All I've been trying to do is make sure we're all able to have fun. That's not true, Susumu said. Think about all that stuff you taught us. Don't you remember? Every man gets to make one request in his life that cannot be denied. Those are your words, Achi. Did I say that? It's the heaviest thing you've ever said. Then to Achi's consternation, Susumu cut down on his hands and knees. I'm begging you, please don't leave. Without you, SOS is nothing. Achi could feel his conviction waver. I'm begging you here, from one man to another. This is my one request. Ooh. Susumu, I'm sorry. Achi could barely croak out the words. I'm leaving you in charge. You can't, Susumu pleaded. Please don't say that. Achi turned his back to him in silence. Please, Achi, why won't you listen? I can't possibly beg any harder than this. Enough with all the request nonsense, Achi grimaced. What? Look at you, down on your hands and knees like that? Pathetic. Ultimately stems from thanks, literally like etymology. Stems from the Greek pathetikos, meaning subject to feeling or capable of emotion. Over time, the meaning changed to signify exciting the passions, and later on to the more modern sense of arousing one's pity. Achi spoke as harshly as he could, fighting to mask his true feelings. I'm fed up with you, all of you. With each word out of his mouth, Achi could feel his own heart breaking. But if he could make the others hate him, at least it would give SOS a reason to stay together. How can you say that? Don't you try and pull that crap! Suzumu's tone had changed from sadness to anger. Fine then, he railed. I'm never asking you for anything again. I'll do what you want. I'll take the reins of SOS. Achi walked away, waving vaguely without looking back. Good luck. I mean it. Once he'd stepped out of the pool hall, he wiped his sleeve across his face. It came away wet with tears. Sometimes I think that maybe I could apologize to those guys so we could go back to the good old days again. But that's never gonna happen. Not unless Suzune gets better. He stared into the distance at nothing in particular. At least he'd sorted out how he felt about his former pals. Is there nothing that can help your sister? Hitomi asked. She needs a heart transplant. And the problem with heart transplants is that the timing is tricky. The act of surgically implanting one person's heart into another's body. Such an operation is typically only performed on a patient with severe heart disease who cannot survive without a new heart. There are strict requirements that must be met before a heart can be transplanted, however. Chief among them, that the donor must first be brain dead. Jesus. Even if there's a donor available, the transplant has to be performed within 4 hours, or things get dicey. Because lack of oxygen causes damage, referred to as warm ischemia damage, in any organ removed from a human body, a transplant must be carried out and blood circulation restored within a certain time window, known as the total ischemic time. In the case of a heart transplant, total ischemic time is only 4 hours. Helicopters and charter jets are frequently used to rapidly transport hearts for such operations. Oh wow, I didn't realize. Someone with a heart that's a match for Suzune would need to die somewhere near her, somewhere they could perform the surgery within that 4-hour window. The odds of that happening are so small it would almost be a miracle, which is what my sister's been waiting for. Achi thumped the left side of his chest. If my heart would do the trick, I'd gladly let her have it. Damn it. And I've got a strong heart, too. He thumped himself on the chest again and again. He didn't mention it to Hitomi, but Suzune's blood type made finding her heart transplant even more difficult. She had Bombay blood, a type of blood that does not correspond to the more common types of ABO or AB. In some instances, a standard blood typing yields a result of O in such individuals. First discovered in the city of Bombay, now Mumbai, on India's west coast, the blood type takes its name from that city due to its relatively high incidence rate among the inhabitants. It was one of the rarest blood types in the world. Apparently there were only a few dozen people in all of Japan who had it. Rare blood types such as Bombay are scarce enough that even nationwide blood centers seldom have them in sufficient supply. For this reason, when such blood types are discovered in everyday testing, samples are quickly taken to be frozen and stored at temperatures lower than 80 degrees below centigrade. If Suzune were ever to receive a heart transplant, it would need to be from someone who already had, or who also had Bombay blood. Achi? Hitomi sounded like she was on the verge of tears. Wow, she must really feel bad for Suzune. If you did manage to find a heart for your sister, what would you do? What do you mean? Say, if you happened across someone who was a donor match? Oh, okay, so here it is. So Hitomi totally has it. Well, I would do anything. Anything? Yeah, whatever it took. I'd risk my own life if it meant helping Suzune. I mean, at that point, I'd assume God had granted me a miracle or something, you know? Mr. Tanaka? Unfortunately for these two, it's not Mr. Tanaka. Right now, Tanaka's at the Osawa residence on his way to speak with Kenji Osawa, who's washing dishes after lunch. So here's our jump, right? Hitomi's voice was barely a squeak. For a moment, all was silent. Maybe it's just a cat? They're doing it again! God damn it! Or not. Jesus. Suddenly, someone hit the door hard. It sounded like they were trying to break the lock. You really think that's Tanaka? Achi asked. I'm not sure. If it were him, I think he'd probably say something. Achi grabbed Hitomi's hand. We better hide. The two of them slipped behind a large piece of plywood stage dressing. The door swung open with a loud creak. Mr. Kane. In stepped the man with the cane. What the heck? Achi whispered. What's he doing here? Gun drawn, the assassin prowled slowly around the storeroom. Achi and Hitomi crouched behind the plywood prop, trying not to make a sound. The man moved out of their line of sight. Achi gazed longingly at the door. Achi risked a peek around the corner of the plywood. He still couldn't see the man with the cane. The door was maybe 5 meters away. What should they do? Run for it. Wait. What should we do, ladies and gentlemen? Like, once I hit a keep out or to be continued, I'm ending the stream, but I do want to see where this goes, and we can jump to other characters next time. So what's it going to be? Get the hell out of here, or wait a little longer? Any options for this? I'm most curious, actually. I know what I would choose. We have 2 votes, 3 votes for B. 4 for B. 1 for A. 5 for B. Honestly, I would have chosen A, because this guy knows where we're going to be and he'll eventually find us. I really think we should just leave. But everyone's going with B. Achi heard the sound of a cell phone vibrating from behind a tall piece of plywood leaning by the door. The assassin stepped out from behind it. He still hadn't spotted his quarry. I'm sure this is the place. His voice was low and confident. Uh-oh. Did he have friends? Still clutching his phone, the assassin wandered deeper into the storeroom. Oh, no, it looks like you chose correctly, chat. Well done. Achi and Hitomi took the opportunity to slip out the door. They ran through the alleyways back toward the main road. Oh! Before they reached it, however, they suddenly found their path cut off by one of the foreigners who chased them earlier, the accomplice of the man with the pipe. Ugh. He stood waiting for them, holding a knife in one hand. Out of the frying pan and into the fire. If they turned back, Achi knew the man with the cane might catch up with them, and he had a gun. Achi slipped off his sleeveless jacket and wrapped it around his left arm. Clever. He was going to have to use his left arm to guard against the knife while punching with his right hand. He clenched his fist and braced himself. And then, suddenly, he froze. What the... Huh? A small dark silhouette dropped from somewhere up above. Landing deftly, the newcomer lunged forward toward the man with the knife, closing the gap between them in the blink of an eye. Jesus. Urgh! The figure delivered a swift chop to the back of the man's neck. Who? He dropped to the pavement like a dead man, finally giving an Achi a clear view of the shadow behind him. Suzumu, could it be? Achi couldn't believe his eyes. It was a small-statured young woman with Middle Eastern features? Huh? Do we know this person? Maybe not. Hitomi let out a little gasp. Kanan? What? Huh? What? Huh? I don't know what that's all about. But we got it to be continued, so that's good. We're moving. That was interesting. Alright, so we've completed Minurikawa and Achi's storylines. We have the jump to 2 different characters, so that can probably... Well, we could jump to Osawa. The jump was here. So we can jump to probably Osawa and Tama. And then one of them, I guess, will affect Kano. This is freaking great. So we're going to have to deal with this later, but this was a very entertaining way to bring the stream to a close. I actually got something done. So thank you very much for joining the stream, and have a wonderful night.